Hello, welcome everyone to Court of the Rings on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am Locharo's community manager, Cordovan. And hey, I got some bad news for you actually. I'm not on YouTube today. I was having an issue authenticating through XSplit, and it says just keep saying something went wrong, HTTPS, bad request, whatever. I ain't dealing with it now. So we're just going to be going on Twitch and Facebook today. Here's how I can make it up to you. I've got a cat cam. So, I would like to introduce the newest cat to the household. This is One Hope. Yes, I'm starting with the most important news of the day. That is that there is a new cat that you can watch over on the Cordovan household. This is Hope. So, I set it up with her toys because she just kept on wanting to play with it while I was getting set up for the live stream. So I was like, content opportunity, question mark. And so there we are. We're gonna kind of pop that on and off as I see her chatting a little bit. I know the truth. You're way more interested in talking to her than me. That's fine. So alright, but, however, we do have some actual Lotra news that we can talk about. First off, I would quick mention that we did have a Bull Roar update this week that was for Update 29. This is our second and could be final preview of Update 29, the Wildwood of Bree. And that should be almost ready to go. We'll have to see how it goes, but potentially within the next couple of weeks, we could be going live with Update 29. Could be potentially, let's say, second week of March. Something like that. So, can the cat video be larger? Thanks. Yeah, I could. There we go. I mean, it's just the spinning ring otherwise, right? Let's be real here, what you want to look at. I could talk about Update 29 while you look at the important bit right there. So, yeah, we are potentially looking at, let's just say, the second week of March as a possible release date. That could change, of course, but something like that. So this was our last opportunity on Bull Roar to take a look at it. You can find the release notes and such still over on Bull Roar's, the Bull Roar forums. Not a lot of new stuff to talk about there. We will be working, however, to put the final release notes out, in time for the release, and it'll be a little bit more substantive in terms of content and more comprehensive, hopefully, in terms of changes. I think it is pretty comprehensive right now. I think this is mostly a content update, but nonetheless, I have a feeling the release notes are going to be a little bit larger than what you see on Bull Roar right now. So, there you go. I would also quick mention, War of Three Peaks is available for Lotro points in the Lotro store. That's starting to get a little bit of older news now, because it's been, a little over a week, actually, since that happened. But I did want to get the word out. If you've been waiting for War of Three Peaks for Lotro points, it is now available there. Otherwise, I just wanted to real quick mention that in terms of news and other events, we do have the skirmish event active. That goes through March 7th. So, not this weekend, but the following weekend will be the final weekend of the Ill Omens skirmish event that we've seen. So, hopefully you've enjoyed it. I know we have a little bit of feedback on some things that we can work on in the future, but there we are. So, yeah. Alright, so I think that's really the large bit of news, as a lot of folks have, surmised in terms of marketing. This is kind of a big week for the other game. So a lot of our marketing resources have gone there. In terms of development resources, what's been going on is the Lotro team specifically hasn't really been involved in any of that. So they've been working on wrapping up Update 29 here, getting it hasn't happened yet, but getting towards a final build for Update 29. And then also, some people have already moved off to Update 30, the Blood of Azog, and we'll have a little bit more info on that in the near future. I would also point out we did have our chat with Sev last Friday. It was probably far more interesting a watch than this stream will be. But if you haven't seen it yet, you can find it over on YouTube or over on Twitch, and that would be our recent chat with Sev. A lot of that is what you're going to, I think, see in the producer's letter as well, but the producer's letter is being worked on and is in process. Hopefully we'll get that out, I'm going to say within the next couple of weeks. It's mostly ready to go, but then the final pieces, you have to wait on certain things to happen. And so I'm going to say within the next couple of weeks, perhaps even a little sooner if we can make it happen. But we'll see. Isn't going to be this week, and it isn't going to be like first half of next week. That much I know for sure. So I think that that's mostly where we sit going on. And yeah, you're right. Actually, good point. Someone is saying the VIP event is also this weekend. I might have missed that. Let me see if... Why, indeed it is. VIP Event Boost kicked off, actually, yesterday. Right, at 10 a.m. And then runs through the 28th, being shut off on March 1st at 3 a.m. So yeah, we got a VIP Event Boost this weekend. Oops. Guess I should put that over on Twitter, and I will have to. Fix the lag, yes. We are actively working on that, as Sev was talking about last Friday, and that is a top priority for us, and one of the things we are absolutely working on. Rough estimate of a release date for Gundabad? No, not at this point. Gundabad is later this year. We are going to be more specific about its release timing, I believe, in the producer's letter, if we haven't already. But that's about as close as I can talk about its release date today. Any plans on changing the prices of the Valar? No. Merloin over on... Or Merloin, rather, sorry. Over on Facebook. I have not heard of any plans to change our Valar pricing. Any progress being made on chat server disconnect issues? I can't say that we've made a lot of progress, but I can say that we have been doing work. Some of our engineering team in particular has been tasked and has been working in recent days on this chat server issue, so we'll kind of have to see how that goes. Okay, I think we've lost Kitty for now. The most important part of the live stream might be over. But I'm trying to answer your questions here as well. Is my other cat okay? Yeah, they're getting along. They're getting along. You know, there's always a transition. But Lizzie, who is my other cat, has actually grew up as a baby with two other cats, so is relatively used to other cats around. Doesn't mean there isn't lots of cat politics, but yeah, Lizzie's fine. Lizzie's doing great. So. Any encore event planned? I don't have anything to mention there today. Am I streaming on YouTube today? No, sorry, I am not. Reason being is that I was having an authentication issue with YouTube prior to going live. So rather than delay the show for a while and try to figure out why it was not authenticating properly, I just am going to skip it this week, and I'll have to export the Twitch to YouTube. I don't have anything to announce about satellite-esque maps for Shire, Bree, and Ered Luin that are arriving with Wildwood. So I can't make a promise about whether we might do that for other regions. I would say that the more popular it is, probably the more likely we'll do that in the future. My kid's whole stream is just totally useless because of the cat. What can I say? Track it away. I think that's her favorite toy. It has quickly become the toy of choice. Alright, wait, Blood of Azog? What is this? Oh, did I let slip something? Oops. Well, okay. Cat Cam Theater might be done. I'm actually ready to log into the game as well, but I wanted to take a focus on chat here, since we were just watching the cat anyway. Why isn't the Ill Omen 12-day quest repeatable? That is a good question. I'm not sure what the design choice was for it, and I suspect that is something we will need to figure out if we're doing it, why we're doing it, and see whether we should make a change there in the future, because, yeah. I'm not sure is the answer. Oh, can I, could Lotro theme music? Yeah, let me do you one better other than that. Let me actually get into the game so that we're not all staring at the hypnotic ring. Reason I didn't want to log in, though, earlier is I'm actually right in Sundergrot. So I might, if I just wait around, I might end up getting attacked. That's why I wanted to kind of stay on CareGen. Well, I did Q&A. You're right, though. That music might have been too loud now that I am listening to my production of it. I think my headphones were just too low, and the music was too loud. I apologize. Yeah, here we go, because I turned up the music volume for when I was playing in Sundergrot this past week. So, when it comes to Sundergrot, I would say this, which is that I appreciate, actually, the community and the live stream suggesting that I do Sundergrot. Frankly, it's a little bit of a pain point, I think, for some folks. And so they wanted me to see it in the way that sometimes that happens. I've actually been mostly enjoying my time in Sundergrot. I do know exactly what people are talking about, of course, which is that, especially once you're defeated, trying to get back into Sundergrot is really strange. I'm not sure why we why the retreat point is so far away from the entrance to Sundergrot. However, I will say this, at least my initial impression is that may be the biggest issue in Sundergrot. I heard some people tell me that I'm likely to get super lost in there, and it's a little twisty, and I certainly am more prone than most to getting lost. I'm kind of terrible at game maps. Whatever. How about I just admit the truth? But that said, I have actually not found myself getting too lost in Sundergrot, so I'm not quite sure where that's coming from. Other than to say that I didn't think it was as bad as Moria. Did I just say that out loud? Yeah, anyway, I like Moria too, but Moria is, yes, you will get lost in Moria. This will happen. If you're me. And I haven't found Sundergrot to be that bad, nor have I found the combat to be more than my captain could handle. There have been a few points. Clearly, I've discovered the run point issue because of, being defeated at one point. But for the most part, as long as I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, it hasn't been that bad in here for the most part. But I do think really that the main thing is just that respawn point. I'd be curious to know in chat, for those who want to get into it in terms of your feedback on the Sundergrot region. Hey, let's get into it. Let's ask me what you want to ask. Why not? I don't know that we're going to be coming back to Sundergrot after this week, so why don't we take the opportunity to Sundergrot it out. Yes, Night Vision over on Twitch. Just before I went live, I received said email. I have not had an opportunity to get back to you, and I'm not sure I'm going to have an opportunity until, let's say, Monday. Today is Friday, February 26th, and we don't talk about the other game, but I would just say in terms of what I have to do today, besides, say, getting the Lotro beacon out and doing some general social media work, a lot of my focus is going to be on the other game, which is celebrating its 15th anniversary today. So you know, I've been there have been things I've had to do. What can I say? There we are. Unfortunately, I have run into, if any place that I've run into issue is with these biting insects. I have not found enough of these biting insect things to. I mean, it's the one thing I got left here after kind of wandering around. So I don't know. Maybe there's a trick to it that I just didn't catch. Yes, I'm aware of 3Dragonwing that I'm not live on YouTube. I apologize. My suspicion is that either YouTube or XSplit is having some kind of issue with being able to authenticate to each other. Because unlike normal, when I just hit the button to go live, it said you need to redo your credentials. Fine. Whatever. I do that occasionally on XSplit and such. But then instead of letting me do that, it just says HTTPS error. Sorry, we've run into an encounter. Please refresh and try again. At which point, it is welcome to tell me the same thing. So we just have to say sorry on YouTube this week. However, I can export the video from Twitch later this afternoon, so I can get the archive, as it were, up on YouTube. I just can't go live today. Is there a chance for an interactive calendar with info on events and such that can be added to the Lotro website instead of just having the events in a forum post? I find many players are always asking about event dates and don't know where to look. The answer to that is yes. As a matter of fact, at one point in Lotro's history, there was a more active calendar. vBulletin does support a basic kind of calendar event system and scheduling system that can be accessed both by official and unofficial sources. You know, like we can make it as open as we want to. The reason it hasn't been used in years and years, though, is it doesn't look that great. And it just didn't get much use. So maintaining it just became way more work than it was actually getting in terms of results. So instead, since and on the Lotro side, we organize most of our events through a world event system that has official start and stop dates that you plug into the game as it were. It gave us an opportunity to do a more full forum event listing than we could do elsewhere. That said, you're totally right, we could. It isn't the most intuitive to go to the forums for this thing. And especially in 2021, there's lots of opportunity out there using different technologies to perhaps make some improvement there. So I'm not opposed to doing some kind of public event system. I would love. The only way it would work, though, I think, is if we were able to do it in conjunction with the community. I don't think just an event system calendar would really provide enough benefit to justify the work. However, a calendar that included filterable things like, say, checkboxes of Google Calendar style, of like, let's say, Lotro stream, whoever else has got a regular Lotro stream on YouTube, Twitch, or whatever. Again, you can just check these boxes on and off. It would be awesome if you're a band trying to do a concert or something like that, having a public place. I mean, technically right now you have one. You can go into the vBulletin calendar and plug in your band event. It just doesn't really get used enough to justify the work. Instead, as a musician, you probably know LotroArtists.com, which is a community-run site. It does a great job of it. But I tend to agree that I think Lotro is in a position of having an opportunity for, if it could all happen, to really coordinate our various calendars, schedules, events, and whatever into sort of a master calendar that would be of a lot of use to the community. Maybe that should be done through Standing Stone Games. However, it clearly should not be done, in my opinion, through the existing forums or website. Reason for that is not because it's not a good location, but because, frankly, let's be real, our forums and website are not good enough to be able to sustain a master community and official event calendar. At best, it's not going to look very good. That's not to say we shouldn't update the website. As a matter of fact, we've long had plans to do it. There was a time pre-COVID where I genuinely thought 2020 might have been the year for Lotro finally getting its website update. Obviously, that didn't happen. But that's not to say it couldn't maybe happen this year. Maybe, fingers crossed. But I don't know. You know, we'll see. We'll see. Nonetheless, you know, I agree. There's lots of opportunity there. I don't know what the best solution is. I think the best solution might be to try a better go at a public calendar under a new website. But since that's not going to happen, say, short term at least, I think it might be, if we really want to make this a thing, perhaps using some kind of more public internet. You know, some kind of neutral third party, as it were, some kind of Google Calendar type thing. Not that I'm suggesting we use Google Calendar, because, But, you know, privacy and other reasons, right? I don't know. But something. Certainly it's supported by both vBulletin and, in general, what our website can do, so I'm not too worried about that. I think the best calendar out there that I see is indeed the Lotro Artist calendar. They do such a good job of that Lotro Artist calendar, and it's such a great resource for the community. I use it every week when I'm putting together the Lotro Beacon. And without it, man, would our music community be in need of a place to get the word out about their shows and what have you. It's just great. So honestly, maybe figure out what they do and what they use, and then just do that. It'd be even better if you could somehow, if we could like integrate between ours and theirs. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe the solution is sort of a public-private partnership, as it were, where we just use whatever they're using, and then technologically it's compatible between the two, so the end user can just have some central thing that they use both with. Maybe that's the solution. Sounds good to me. I'm down. And yes, I think we could actually do that. If you are happening to hear this from Lotro Artists, and you're like, well, as a matter of fact, we can do that. Well, let me know. Let me know. Maybe that is something we can actually do. Because I am not, wedded to using the forums as the main place for our event schedule. Zedrock? Yeah, I know how to get in touch with Zedrock, I think. I can do that. Why is there no switch server option within the game instead of having to close the program and run it again? I think the best answer to that is probably that it is an artifact of the era in which Lord of the Rings Online was made. At a core fundamental level. There's really a technological block where you're logging into kind of an authentication server going into a game server. And nowadays, you're totally right. Nobody has to deal with that. That's like, what? But in 2005, 6, 7, when Loacher was being developed, that is sort of how it was made. And at this point, being able to fundamentally rip that out and replace it is I think if it were easy to do, it would have been done by now. But I think that may be the actual answer as to why it is the way it is, which is just that it's an artifact of the environment in which the game was originally made. I mentioned the release notes will be longer when Wildwood comes. Any chance they'll address the new upgrade bonus set gear we spotted? I will have to dig into that. I was not aware that something new was spotted related to set bonuses on Bull Roar this week. But again, like I said, it's been a busy week. So perhaps that just skipped my brain, or skipped my radar. As such, I'm not in a position to comment about what it is you're talking about, because clearly I need to do some research first. I will say, if there is a change in set bonuses happening for Update 29, then yes, I would expect to see some information about that to be in the release notes. If it's simply that the new gear has a new mechanic of sorts, or a kind of a new crafting mechanic, or however you want to describe it, then perhaps that wouldn't make the release notes. But especially if it's at a point where people are like, what's this thing? Why isn't he talking about it? Then I will do a little further research and make sure that we do get that into the release notes. Why did we not sell 100% skirmish scrolls during Ill Omen's skirmish event? I don't know. I bet e-commerce would have. Maybe that's just an oversight. I don't know. I can bring it up. That'd be kind of a nice thing to spend those lots of points on if you got them. All right. Yes. One of the things that is on my agenda here as community manager is I would like to see us. I know the thing is like prioritization. Okay, let's blah blah blah. I've just now talked for 3 minutes about prioritization and how difficult it is. One of the things I would really like to see us work on when available is that Remember Me for 8 hours thing in the launcher. It is clearly not working as intended, and it seems to be causing some significant issues for some players when they use it. So my suggestion is to not use it. Maybe it's a quality of life thing, and it would have been nice if it worked, but it's not working. That is my rough estimate. Is it is not working well. It may be working for some people just fine, but it's not working good enough that we should let it sit. So I would like to actually see us do something about that. Keep me logged in for 8 hours thing. However, I would suggest in the meantime, just don't use it for now. I agree that it's an issue that we need to take a look at. I don't have a price tag to say about our next adventure or next quest pack. It should be within the range of what you would expect. Okay. Cat cam can go away. There we go. Have we thought about integrating a new game engine? Unfortunately, that kind of surgery is unlikely to happen for Lotro, but sure, that would be cool. Game engine improvements is something we absolutely do look at frequently. What about Legendary servers? We should have some cool information about the Legendary server release schedule over in the producer's letter. Have I tried rebooting my... Oh no, someone about installing prereqs. Someone saying, try rebooting your cable modem, getting a new dynamic IP address has fixed it for me in the past. Yeah, I've had that work for me as well. I don't get very many installing prereqs bugs on my installation. I just don't. But I have in the past, when the game's getting near its 14th anniversary. And resetting the modem because of a dynamic IP address has several times fixed it over the years. Any ETA on being able to gift in the Lotro market? No ETA to announce. It is something we do want to do, however. You have never found all the insects? Oh. Any chance of us being on Google Stadia? I have not heard of any real kind of interest to do that. I think, I don't know. I certainly haven't heard of any plans to do it, sorry. But, I think something like that would probably happen at a level above me anyway. So who knows what the future could bring. I would imagine the success of the platform has a lot to do with the games available on it. But what do I know? I actually need to fix my gear, don't I? Yeah. Fix your gear. Alright, what am I actually here to do? Complete the quest Cindergroat Mining Sappers. Where is the Cindergroat Mining Sappers? And, well, actually, how about I not die? Let's start there. How about I not die while looking up things? Alright. Maybe that's shit folks are talking about here then, huh? Well, let's see where we are here today. I think we're getting... Actually, we're only at 12:30? Wow. I thought it was not that bad. However, I don't think I have the quest. Evaluating the hold and mining. So let me see where... Maybe that's after this. Let's bring the samples to Knopf. Yes, you can manually log out if you have the 8 hours thing ticked. In the launcher, there's a little drop-down arrow, and that'll get you the ability to log out if you run into an issue. And just for now, just don't use it. I have to admit, I was personally a little bit... I didn't really know that that was coming to the public game launcher. My understanding is that at least at its core, was intended to be a feature to help customer service, who work 8-hour shifts and would occasionally have their workflow hampered or become less efficient because they were constantly having to log in all the time. So I believe that was the actual original impetus for that stay logged in for 8 hours checkmark. But that was not a feature that would have been for a retail, as they call it, live game client, but rather one that would be used by customer service. So I didn't realize that was coming, personally. I mean, clearly I was just not in the know. I'm not saying that it was surprise brought out or anything, just that I was not aware of it myself until it was released onto the live game worlds that it was actually going to be a checkbox coming to the public. So perhaps that is somewhat informative.
Let me see these checks and the ore samples you've collected. Watch out for the goblins!
Okay, we're mining sappers. So where is... Do I just need to kill sappers? Because that I can do. There was plenty of them in there. But I'm not surprised I'm not seeing that in my quest log here. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be looking at. Let me see. Mining. Oh, Elder Slade. No. That's not it either, so. Oh, the sapper is an item? Oh, the sappers are the bombs. Okay. See, I thought of the sapper as like a profession, like they were a sapper and that they were chucking those bombs. So I thought when it was, get rid of sappers, that it would probably be getting rid of the mining people. But I will go back in and we shall take a look. Okay, okay. I think I actually have seen a couple of bombs. I just didn't click on them. So I guess maybe I should be clicking on them, huh? Alright, let's do that. A legendary server question being ignored again. I'm not ignoring. I don't think so. What am I not asking? What am I not answering about? Regarding the legendary servers, any chance we'll see a Pelennor instance gear return with set bonuses? No. No, that will not be happening on the legendary worlds. Sorry. Was that your question? It is unlikely that older deprecated loot systems would make a return. Yeah. Period. I mean, yeah, I could just repair my gear. I just don't. Oh, they'll be near the bridges that need to be blown up. Okay, thank you for the infers. Can't do it right in the middle of combat? And you say we're pay to win. Look at that. I tried to give the game money and it said no. Not now, man. Not now. There we are. What do you... I don't understand what you mean by teasing you with 65 OD drops. I'm sorry, that's not... I'm not quite sure what you mean. We certainly... If we gave the impression that a loot system would be returning in the Legendary Worlds, then perhaps that is something that would need further investigation by me before I answer. I'm not aware that we ever promised a loot system change. Okay, so the bridges go down that way. Okay. Oh, Ostoneth Incense gear. Okay. Yeah, but I don't think we promised that that was coming back, did we? I don't recall us saying that that was coming back. You need an update on the cat. I don't know what the cat's up to. Like, I'm only hearing it from behind my head if she's playing with the paper, which is part of why I put it down there for the cat cam. Yeah, we have got an empty space where the cat used to be. We brought back the 65 OD loot, returning Bangris, Belakthol, Cloak of Hwyn to Os Dunhath raid tables. It led everyone to the impression you would be returning loot tables to the game. This is the last area where we'd see drops of this type. So... Okay, okay. Well, so I'm seeing someone provide a little more context to the table question. The OD gear question. Okay, it just sounds like it's maybe a little more of a complex subject than I can get into on a live stream setting. But cool. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let me pop on over to Facebook. I haven't had an opportunity to go through Facebook chat here in a little bit, but I do have it queued up so I can see the full thing. Yes, make the res point closer. Yeah, I know, right? What? Reasoning behind the Remerchant Gear Barterer changes and Update 29 beta. I would need to relook at our release notes to specifically talk about the change, but my understanding is that the general goal is to react to player concern about the grind and drop rate of the Remerchant raid, which is, you know, after all, been around for a little while, and there was a desire to try to address, basically just make people happier by reducing some of the pain point of the gear acquisition system for Remerchant. Okay, maybe I'm talking about something else then. Let me... Well, alright, let me call up the Bulwerer notes then. See what I can... See what's going on here. Remerchant gear drops, huh? Okay, yeah. Changes made to barter for the Remerchant class set gear The Quartermasters and Estedlown. The armor exchange, allowing exchange for a piece of set gear for an equivalent piece for a different trait specialization, will no longer be deed gated. Yep, so we're no longer making you do the deeds on that. So that's part of the grind I was talking about. Sounds like I'm being attacked. Maybe I should deal with that. And then we're just lowering the tiers, right? That you get the equivalent gear for. And that's to make it easier for those who want to farm for certain things. And also to make it so that people who have been telling us Remerchant, you know, is in need of said work. I'm just stressing it. I didn't actually need to combat these things, but fine, whatever. Alright, as long as I'm here, let me head back to that real quick. Barter for class set gear, hands and feet, chest pieces, legs and shoulders, legendary helms. Let's see, the hands and feet will no longer be gated by any deed, so you no longer need to complete T3 in order to get it. Class set gear chest pieces will be reduced to tier 1 gating down from tier 3. Class set gear legs and shoulders reduced to tier 2 gating down from tier 3. Barter for class set gear legendary items will remain tier 3 gated, but with a reduction in its cost to match the other class set pieces, and the barter profiles have been reorganized and renamed in accordance with the altered required deed completion. So they're no longer basically in the list of deed-gated things, but rather its own thing. So that does actually sound like what I was talking about in terms of our grind reduction wants that we've been hearing from the community, and our attempt to basically make it a little easier to get the gear. You don't have to run the higher tier completion if you don't want to anymore. And although you're going to have a better chance probably to get it if you do, but, you know, in terms of how that works, you're going to not have to grind higher levels. You're not going to have to do the deeds. And it's just overall going to be a little bit easier to get equivalent stuff. Well, I mean, if you see, it doesn't, you know, maybe universally change the grind, but certainly for the one that has had its barter profile equalized to the other gear, that is a direct reduction in grind. You needed X amount, now you need less. Quick on the quest, yes. Yay. Lower bridge. But it sounds like really we probably have a wider discussion that we need to talk about, and that is just something we can address. Yeah, now use the delete key to find the sappers. Okay, well, all right. So they are on the bridge? Oh, you're right. There we are. Why, thank you, chat. And then I need to bring it over to the bridge. How do I dispose of a... What do I do? Oops. Not that! Not that. Okay. Not that. Just run it out onto the bridge? Okay. Yeah, I don't know why the bomb is called a sapper either. I mean, not like I'm some kind of expert, but I was always of the impression that a sapper was a role, not a item. I mean, a sap, I guess, was an item, right? But a sapper is one who saps, and that would be one who basically is a bomber, as it were. From back in the olden times, before there were sort of explosive style bombs, or even they were fire, right? Fire and oil and other things. That was my thought of what a sapper was, but I guess I don't know. It saps your time because you have to, it takes you far away. That it does. All right, let me head over to Facebook chat. Already mentioned the Stadia thing. Adam over on Facebook, I think, raises a decent suggestion as well that perhaps we could look at why the essences from the tier... let me try to not run off the hill while I do this. The essences from the tier 3 deed bound to character after opening. Why are they bound to character after opening? They're no better than the tier 6 essences, so it can't be overpowered, but it binds armor we can share otherwise between characters. I don't know. I would need to look into that quite a bit more. But that does sound like maybe a suggestion we could look at for the future. Thank you. All right. Oh, a sapper is a rank. Interesting. Someone is saying in Twitch chat, a sapper is a rank. Not using the VIP beverage? Good point. I actually should be, right. I just haven't done it. Bruno, I don't believe I'm ignoring any hard questions. I'm not quite sure what you're mentioning there. Why am I ignoring it? It's okay. 3 times you said I'm ignoring your questions. Let me see what is. Why people in U29 ill be able barter raid gear without even stepping foot in the raid? Um, it sounds like you are interested in preserving a certain level of gear specifically for a specific raid. And I apologize if our desire to provide compelling gear options over time does sometimes mean that as the years go by, gear from certain raids may have competition in its space. But in general, we do tend to preserve, or try to preserve, the specialness of raid gear. But we try also not to make past decisions overly lock out options for the future. So I guess depending on a specific piece of gear or something be available for barter, then if we need to address something there, perhaps we can. But I would say in general that is not our intention to diminish raid gear quickly and easily, particularly when a raid is new. Alright. I think that's about as good as I'm going to be able to do on answering your question today. I'm sorry if that isn't substantive enough. Do I think it's time for war goats? Yes. I have not heard of plans to do them, but yes is the answer. I am down with war goats. I want war boars too. I think the boar mount for War of Three Peaks is one of my personally more enjoyable things that has been brought to Lotro in a little while. And I know that that may not be a very popular statement. It is, however, a personal opinion that I think the war boars rock. They're sweet, they're rad, they're cool. All objective words to describe the war goat. Or no, the war boar. Or the boar of Three Peaks. And probably the war goat too, if we ever come out with one. We, in general, would like for all of our content, especially our newer content, to have compelling gear choices that it presents to players. That's sort of one of the big goals there, right? So if you feel like we haven't always hit that mark, then I apologize. Hopefully we'll do better in the future for you. There's a sapper. All right. This time I will not blow myself up. Not, maybe. Maybe this time I will not blow myself up. But before I do that, I should clear out the bridge. Okay. Maybe I don't have to do that either, but I'm going to. All part of this whole staying alive thing. Hey, someone agrees with me on the war boar. And, you know, I would be actually totally down for war hamsters. However, I don't believe, you know, Lotro, despite the hobby horse and such evidence to the contrary, in general, Lotro takes itself pretty seriously. And the idea of a war hamster that you would be in a ball and ride, while I am personally totally down for, I totally understand how it might not be an appropriate form of travel for a game based on Tolkien's Middle-earth. Unless there's a part of the Silmarillion I never got to. Alright, so I'm running out. Oh, there we go. Oh, now another one, huh? Probably over on the other side here. Yeah, there's the other sapper. Sweet. Okay. Go. There we go. Okay, so now I go to the next bridge, which is down this way, I believe. You want a whole herd of cats as a cosmetic pet. That would be popular. That would be popular, would it not? I suspect that would be very popular. Health up a little bit here. All right. Oh, am I actually going long? Oh, I am going long. I apologize. I didn't realize it was after 1 o'clock. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, let me wrap up the show here. Last I looked at the clock, it was 12:30, and so I just assumed that it was still roughly 12:50-ish. I guess I'm incorrect. So, you know why I don't know? It's because of the cuckoo clock. Since the cuckoo clock seems to be of particular interest to a few people over on the Lord of the Rings side of the community, including press, please let me say that my cuckoo clock is currently not working, and I blame you. It heard you insult it. All those negative things about my poor cuckoo clock caused it to get depressed, and it's on strike. So this week, one of the regulators, one of the counterweights, slid to the ground. So it either lost itself or something happened. Something happened. Regardless, it's your fault for insulting my poor cuckoo clock, both on the forums and in the press. Poor thing is old and just wants to be left alone. Either way, there's no cuckoo clock. That's why I'm late. Thank you very much for watching Court of the Rings on Twitch, normally YouTube and Facebook. I will have this archived to Twitch, and we'll be back on Twitch for next week's show. So, all right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you have a great LOTRO weekend. We'll be back with more next week, and like I say, within a couple weeks here, potentially update 29 itself. Enjoy the VIP weekend. Enjoy the second to last weekend of the Ill Omen Skirmish event, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for being here.